Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 2, presentations. Number 1, solid waste contract update. We have our city manager, Kelly Kinsler, here to present, and we also have our representatives from Tiger Sanitation to assist in answering any questions that our counselors or citizens may have. So with that said, good evening, Mrs. Kinsler, and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you. The purpose of this hopefully short presentation is just to give you an update of where the City of Leon Valley and Tiger Sanitation, who you see sitting in the back row this evening, is on updating citizens and informing citizens of the change in services. So December the 5th...
Excuse me just a second. Could we please dim the lights so we could see the screen? Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Kinsler. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So December the 5th, this body approved the city manager to enter into contract negotiations for solid waste services in Leon Valley with Tiger Sanitation. By the 11th, 6 days later, we had contract specifics. It was signed. Nope, it was signed the 11th. That's right. Worked out some additional details at this table right in here on the 11th and had it signed that afternoon. So the essentials of the contract. As stated in the RFP, the service will be $17 a month plus tax. It's a 95-gallon waste and recycle cart, one time per week. That $17 figure you see is applicable for the first 2 years. Then it will increase with the CPI. Then there is a $16.75 a month service for the 65-gallon waste and recycle carts. That's also one time a week. Same thing for the first 2 years, then increases with the CPI. There'll be brand new carts delivered to the residents from December 26th through December the 30th. 95-gallon waste containers will be delivered initially. But if a resident wants to switch that cart to a 65-gallon cart, they can do so free of charge through May the 31st of 2018. And there will be a hang tag. I'm sorry, thank you, Mayor, March. There will be a hang tag from that 95-gallon waste container, which will tell them the number to call or how to do that. Tiger has ordered and will put into service in Leon Valley, I think they're already here, a brand new fleet of collection trucks for this service. Commercial waste is going to be collected, and actually if you've noticed out there, they're already distributing the commercial containers. They will be collected in the early morning hours in an effort to avoid further traffic congestion on Bandera Road. Tiger is annually going to coordinate with Leon Valley in an effort to collect the HHW for Texas Recycle Days through a third-party vendor, which is the way we were doing it before, similar to the way we were doing it with waste management, and that was through Bexar County, as I believe it was probably Councilor Alcacer that pointed that out last time. They also will have 3 holidays per year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So as the carts are delivered, there's going to be a hang tag that's going to be attached to them. It's going to cover things such as billing dates. One thing that we've had to change up, billing dates were just going to flow as normal, but Waste Management sent out their bills. And so Tiger, so that citizens, especially during the holidays, are not double paying, has agreed to just delay their billing until the end of January. That way it gives hopefully citizens time to get their refund and they're not having to double pay. And that was really appreciated because that's a bookkeeping issue on their part, but they were definitely willing to do that. Then after that, once we get that fixed, the billing dates will be very similar to what your citizens saw with Waste Management. It's also going to have on that hang tag the dates of the collection. And so they'll be sorting by region. And so, of course, not everybody's tags will be the same because your date of your pickup will be on your tag. Exchange dates and rules will be on there as well. The bulk and brushed will be picked up twice a year, which is the exact same service that you have now with waste management. Collection of residential waste is going to begin no earlier than 7 o'clock in the morning and generally should not extend beyond 6 p.m. There is a default clause in the contract. If either party defaults in the performance of their duty, they will have 30 days to cure that default. If they don't cure it, the defaulting party can terminate the agreement. Customer complaints should initially be directed straight to the contractor. Right now, as I'm sure you've noticed, between the city's social media next door and our telephones, we're trying to field every question that we can right now, so that by the time the holiday season gets here, I'm hoping the questions are at a minimum. Tiger has already sent out their first mailing to residents. They're going to send out a newsletter this week. Is that right? This week? And then their third piece of correspondence with residents will be the hang tag on the cart. We will also include in our water bill the transition as well, information about the transition. So the other components of the contract is that the contractor has agreed to contribute $2,500 towards the Earthwise Living event, same amount towards the 4th of July event. They have committed to 150 hours annually of community service in Leon Valley, and that community service will be done at the direction of city staff to support whatever city events we need them in. They're also going to provide 100 trees annually. They will participate in our National Night Out. They will be providing us with free solid waste removal for the city-owned containers, same exact setup that you had with waste management. And then provide complimentary e-waste collection for city during the scheduled semi-annual brush pickups. So what has transpired since the update? The citizens received waste management invoices early, on or around December the 8th. And there was a failure to communicate between waste management's administrative side and their bookkeeping side, that they were not the low bidder, and so they sent out the invoices anyway. So as soon as we found out that happened, we smothered social media as best as we could. We also went out to the committees that you all have appointed and asked them to get involved, with their groups, especially with like your Citizens Police Advisory Committee, because they have an email list of their own, of their neighborhood. So we got it out that way, trying to inundate the community with information, basically letting them know not to pay that invoice. But it got away from a few. And so Waste Management has agreed to reimburse those that paid within a 5-week or so period. They shouldn't have received the invoices as they were not the low bidder. Again, it was a disconnect. The day the contract was signed, we took immediate measures to notify residents not to pay that invoice. It all happened at once. So what steps did the City of Leon Valley take to notify residents not to pay waste management? We posted it on Nextdoor all the way until 10 minutes ago. I try to take a couple questions at a time on Nextdoor and answer them. We had a Facebook post, a website post. We emailed the committee members asking them to spread the information. And then Tiger sanitation material was being handed out at City Hall, and staff has handed out literature to the committees. So anytime we've had a committee meet, we've handed out literature to them as well. And yeah, but that immediately those were the steps we took. But then the following e-news, we had it on there as well. So we have Tiger with us this evening, just in case you all have questions about the transition that I'm unable to answer, or in the event, which is quite possible, I've not answered some of your questions in this presentation this evening. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Okay, very good, Ms. Kinsler. I did have a question about the point you had on the PowerPoint. Commercial pickup, what time is early? Because in the past, I've gotten complaints from citizens that a garbage truck is picking up at a commercial, especially like Grass Valley right there next to Bandera Road, and on the other side Seneca, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they think that's too early, that's waking them up. So I just wanted to see what time is too early, because I know regular residential pickup starts at 7 a.m.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Lee Kuhn, Tiger
Yes, sir.
Tiger Sanitation. 4 a.m. is what we had planned for.
4 a.m.?
4 a.m. is start collection, but let me point out though that
Okay.
in commercial areas adjacent to residential areas, we certainly work with the communities we serve.
Okay.
We understand that sometimes on those borders that you may have apartments or homes that back right up to commercial areas, and so a lot of times we're able to spot that ourselves. But in the event that we're not, and someone complains or says, "Hey, can you alter your schedule?" We're able to do that, and so we would do that here as well.
Okay, I'm just, again, based on past experience. Also, I did see someplace, I didn't see it in this presentation, but people are asking me, but now what day are you going to pick up both my garbage and my recycling? So I've said that whatever day that you have currently that you pick up garbage and recycling, that's going to be your pickup day. And then everybody else had a second day for garbage pickup. And then, so in Forest Oaks, ours is Wednesday, so we're going to keep it Wednesday, correct? Or is it going to change?
Yes, ma'am. So,
okay,
so what we've communicated is, right now is, if you have Monday service, Monday would be Monday, Thursday, and then, or some folks have Tuesday, Friday, and then Wednesday, Saturday.
correct.
What we're communicating is that you'll receive your service day on your first current service day.
Okay.
So your service day will not change.
Okay, very good. Now, but I saw someplace that the first week in January, with the holiday being Monday, would you explain how that week's going to be a little bit different? And that's our first week of pickup.
Yes, ma'am. And we welcome the challenge of
Yes, sir.
communication. So we've also communicated to folks what they'll receive is notifying them on that first week of service. We notified them of their 3 holidays, and it just so happens the first day of the contract is a holiday. And during those holiday weeks, your service will slide 1 day. And then so we clearly state, if you have Monday service, it will slide to Tuesday, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Hopefully that addresses the question, and certainly if we get phone calls, we'll share that as well. They'll see it on our website. They'll see it on what we're handing out or what we're mailing out, as well as what will be on the cart. So they'll have multiple opportunities to see that information.
Okay. And then what is the process for trading in your 95-gallon garbage for a smaller 65-gallon? I know you said we could just call by March 31st, but, I mean, is there a process where we leave it on the curb and then I don't know. Would you explain that, please?
Yes, ma'am, be happy to. It's very simple. They can, residents may call us or email us.
Okay.
And if they email us, we'll call them back once we've confirmed. But very simple. We'll give the resident a date. So it'll be on your service day. If you have Monday service, and you call in and request, we'll let you know on that Monday that we'll take your 95 because it's out at the curb, empty it, we'll take it, and then we'll replace it with a 65-gallon on that same day. So you'll come home, presumably, and your 95 will be gone, and there will be a 65 in its place.
All right. Sounds good. All right, those are my questions. So let me open it up then for more questions from our counselors. Counselor Alcacer.
Yes, sir. Well, I bugged the manager all this afternoon because our neighborhood is a Monday, and Waste Management has never picked up the following day. And so we have a predicament in our neighborhood because this past Monday will be the last day they pick up recycle, and you don't pick up until the 2nd. And we need our carts because we have no place else to put the recycle. So my request on behalf of my neighborhood and all the other Monday people is to be the first ones to get the cart so that on Christmas Day or the day after we can put the recycle into the new cart. because we'll have 2 weeks of recycle that we won't be able to put anywhere.
Yes, ma'am. Our current plan is Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. We plan to deliver carts that morning we'll start with Monday. And we get all of the Monday residents' carts delivered first, then we'll follow that up with Tuesday and then Wednesday.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Very good. All right, any other questions? Yes, Councilor Martinez.
For commercial customers, are you going to pick them up more than once a week, or is that something negotiated? You could have a restaurant that has so much that they need 2 or 3 pickups a week.
Yes, sir. Our goal is to provide them the same level of service, same frequency as they're currently receiving. But if they want to change it up or down, we're completely able to do that.
Okay. Now, with this contract, I know in the past we've had businesses come before City Council and want to use a different company other than Waste Management. Are those companies still locked into Tiger, or can they get have their garbage picked up by anyone they want?
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, this is an exclusive contract for Leon Valley, a franchise agreement, and so you have to, the residents and commercial businesses in Leon Valley all have to use the same provider. That's how you get the rate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Anyone else? Yes.
The same as with Waste Management.
Okay. Councilor Jordan.
Okay. Can you go back to the default agreement clause that you?
Mayor, Councilor Jordan, there it is.
It says that the defaulting party may terminate the agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not following that. That don't sound right to me. So,
Yeah, it should be the opposite.
okay.
That's funny.
Mayor and council, it should be non-defaulting.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Good.
So if they
Good
have
catch.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Are there any residents or visitors that have a question? If you'll please come forth to the podium and state your name and address for the record and ask your question. Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Magdalena. I'm the commercial property manager for the Exchange Parkway Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
And when Tiger started servicing us, well, during this past year, we had 2 really bad experiences with them because we do have a restaurant on site, and then after they dump their dumpsters, they squeeze all the garbage or trash that they had picked up, and then all the juices, really bad smell comes out, and a puddle is left behind. So we've been told that there is a hole in the canister or whatever, and that's a very unpleasant situation. They have left us twice. The days exactly, I cannot recall them now, but I hope that will not happen in the future.
And that's Tiger? I was just, because we have an exclusive.
No, I think we have Tiger.
Nobody in the city
of Always Leon Valley manage?
should have Tiger.
Until
Tiger,
January
or
1st.
probably, I'm a little confused. Yeah, whoever,
Okay,
yes.
right.
It's the new contractor that you have since the last, 3 years, whatever. But it has happened within the last couple of years. or
We had
at least this
a
year.
5-year contract that ended.
Yeah,
and
so whoever is
yeah.
being in place.
Okay, so that was Waste Management. And
Was Waste
starting,
Management?
yes, ma'am, so starting
Tiger
January.
is new. Tiger is starting brand
Tiger
new?
will start January 1st of
Well, at least it's
2018.
something for them to know, not to let
Okay.
that happen ever.
Very good.
Because it's very, and we have the state of Texas as one of our tenants, and it's a health hazard.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it will never happen.
Yes,
Okay, great, goody. Thank you.
okay. Counselor Edwards.
I didn't hear where you said who you represented.
The Exchange Parkway Plaza
Okay.
on Wurzbach and next door to the Wells Fargo building.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So again, any questions, concerns, complaints after January 1 goes directly to Mr. Kuhn. So, and they'll handle it from there. And of course, we'll help too, but that's important.
It'll actually go to a customer service
customer
representative,
service,
the
yeah.
lady that oversees that, but we'll make sure that information is out. Yes, ma'am.
Put the phone number on e-news and wherever.
We're going to put Mr. Kuhn's number on the front page of the San Antonio Express.
Okay, very good. I already told him I had to have his phone number in my cell phone, so just in case I need to ask a question. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question regarding our Tiger sanitation contract and what's coming starting January 1st? Okay, then if there are no, yes, Councilor Ely.
Just one point of clarification. When the days slide over one day, do all the others slide over as well? In other words, everybody else's goes back one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, just want to be sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Kuhn, and the rest of the Tiger sanitation representatives, and we look forward to working with y'all. Okay, you
Thank
bet.
you for
And Merry
being here.
Christmas. All right.
Councilor Alcacer, your email's now been answered, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving then to agenda item number 2 under presentations, Summer 2018 Outdoor Music Event at Raymond Remkes Park, and we have City Manager Kelly Kinsler to present this agenda item as well. Again, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This was just brought to me maybe a month or less ago, I think less than a month ago, by Mr. Mumani, who owns the Courtyard Cafe here in Leon Valley. I think pretty much everybody just about in this room has eaten there.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought a proposal to me that he would like us to consider. And I think after I thought it through, we probably would need a 380 agreement to go with it if you were inclined to do this. So the I want to apologize in advance, Mr. Mumani, because I'm afraid that some of these Bolivian words I'm going to pronounce wrong, but I'm going to try hard. So the proposal on the table for the council to listen to is for us to possibly develop a 380 agreement with the Courtyard Cafe in an effort to bring a music festival to Leon Valley with an internationally acclaimed band, Los Jargas. And we're going to play a little bit of one of their performances. I don't know if this one was in D.C. or overseas. Crystal, can you click on the YouTube, please? Thank you. I watched several of them. I don't know which one this one is. Thank you.
Lots of energy.
Right. And so that was just a small sampling of this band who actually travels internationally. Their name is Los Jarcas. They're a Bolivian band from the Capinota province in the department of Cochabamba. One of the most popular Andean folk music bands in the country's history, actually. Among the styles they play are the saya, the tuntuña, the llano, and the carnavales, right? The instruments they use include the charango, the quenya, the zampona, the ronroco, the guitar, and the bombo. So this band has toured across Japan, Europe, Scandinavia, all across South America, Australia. They've composed over 350 songs. And they're like a couple of groups that I can think of. I can't remember the second one. One I was thinking of was Il Divo, in that, they have an international following. Wherever they play, there's a certain group that follows them. So what's happening is they are actually going to be in the United States in June. And Mr. Mumani will be traveling to South America in January, and actually has ties and contacts with this band. And so they're going to be playing in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and New York. I thought it was Chicago and New York. And maybe Leon Valley.
We're on that level.
And so that's right, absolutely. And so what his proposal is he would like, on behalf of his business in the Courtyard Cafe, is to bring these musicians, which are very costly, as the headliner, and then local musicians, various, different flavors and cultures of music, which would be openers, and then this would be the finale, to the park in June. I said, June, we have a 4th of July thing. The problem is that's when they're in the United States, because they travel around the world. And so that's the only time that we can have them. We don't even know a date right now in June, because he will need to go meet with them in January, and we'll have to see if this is viable. He would charge a fee to enter the park in an effort to fund the musicians. He would want to use Raymond Rimkus Park free of charge through this 380 agreement, so that he could bring this economic develop initiative to Leon Valley. He is proposing a committee to assist with this, with one city representative, one Chamber of Commerce representative, and then another representative from the local business. So what would we have to do? Well, we would have to agree to give the park up free of charge. We would have to provide traffic control and security for this event. You can actually provide that with your red light camera funds. That would qualify the traffic control funds. We would facilitate the ethnic food and drink booths for the event. And the reason we put that on our side is because I've heard many times from this council that you're interested in an ethnic food. I know you want an ethnic food place along Evers Road, but we would be the ones that would be responsible for bringing that diversity of food and vendors into the park. And then we would charge the vendors, obviously, and make the money off of that. We could also facilitate any other booths for the event, any kind of merchandise or whatever. The other thing he would ask is that up here at the front that we would sell prepaid tickets through the city, and that we would offer an employee to be on the committee for the event. Things to consider: this is not in your FY18 budget, so the 380 agreement would have to, this would have to pay for itself, such as the vendor booths, and then, you would need to authorize the red light camera funds to do the traffic control and the street security. We could charge for food booths, which would go back into the city funds for use of the facility and the manpower as well. That would go right back in the general fund, actually. The only month we can hold this event is in June, and we will not have, it's not going to be our choosing as to the date. It's going to have to be the band's, depending on how we fit in with the other 3 major cities in the United States. Okay, so it's LA, DC, New York. Those are the 3. Okay, so not Miami. So the next step really that we need is to get direction from you. Is this something that you're interested in doing, so that we can work on what a 380 agreement would look like? And then eventually we would work on obtaining a variety of food vendors so that we could enhance the event. But I think most importantly tonight is to let both the city staff and Mr. Mumani know whether or not this is something we're interested in bringing to the San Antonio area, because he will make his trip to South America in January, and that's where he would, I guess, generate your contract with the band. Is that correct? And I know it's fairly vague, but that's the information that I have right now. We would have to work everything into a 380 agreement.
Well, I guess I've got a lot of questions, and mainly cost. I mean, we know how much it cost us for the 4th of July, and we really spent a lot of money, and it came out of the general fund. So for this to work, I would like it to, I don't know what the gate fee's going to be.
What I have told Mr. Mumani, Mayor, this may help you, is that it has to be budget neutral.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the bottom line.
And then also, are we going to require a gate? Like we did for 4th of July for crowd control?
We've talked about that, and
okay.
yes, he would do the fencing around the area.
Yeah, I just didn't, again, my deal is the money. I mean, how much is he going to have to charge at the gate in order, and then that means you have to get X number of people there in order to break even, right?
Mayor, Council, that's correct. However, I mean, with all due respect to Mr. Mumani, that's on him, because he's the one who is paying the bands and paying for the event. So he will charge at the gate and hope to recover his costs.
Okay, but our responsibility was.
So
we were going to do the food vendors, and that was going to offset manpower. Is that what I heard?
It was just it's things to consider.
I'd like to know what that is. What's that cost? Because food booths aren't that expensive, are they?
Well, food booths they're not an expense to us necessarily. They pay us to be there.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, we charge what, $100?
It just depends on the event
versus overtime and
exactly. Are we going to charge the same as we charged on the 4th? But you're not looking at the same manpower that you're looking at for the 4th of July. You're not looking at paying for the entertainment. You're not looking at paying for the fencing. You are looking at paying for the overtime for the officers and the traffic control. But you have now red light camera money that would allow you to pay for that. So that item right now is the item that may not be budget neutral. I just can't tell you because we don't know how big.
Do we know how many
sell.
people? Do we have an estimate of it's going to be 10,000 people, 2,500, 5,000? We don't have any idea.
I
how
certainly
many people
don't.
We attract.
I certainly don't have an estimate because they've never been to San Antonio before. Maybe Mr. Mumani can tell us how many people they bring in when they go to L.A., D.C., and New York. But it's different. Yeah, it's completely different than bringing them to San Antonio.
Right. Okay, those are just some thoughts I had, but any other questions? Yes, Dr. Edwards.
So, Mr. Momani, is that correct? He would be
Yes,
essentially the promoter.
Mayor, Dr. Edwards, that would be correct.
Yes, if he could come up and just.
Can he come up and respond?
Good evening and welcome. Yes, sir. Would you just state your address of the courtyard just for our record, please,
Well,
Mr.
my
Momani?
address, 6614 Thunderbird Drive. I live
Oh, Thunderbird.
right behind the Marshall High School.
Okay.
My kids went to Marshall High School, and I own the restaurant at 7600 Acre Road.
Yes, sir.
And first of all, this idea has come out with Miss Amber Anthony. I think that was she was the economic development. Last year we talked a little bit about, I think there were some ideas about a ethnicity festival, food. There was going people's ideas and just put an idea. And then another occasion, I met Miss Kelly about this this idea, and so it just kind of come this group that I know for many, many years. Actually, we went to high school together. So,
Yeah.
so it just happens that maybe, well, we're talking about ethnicity. What can be more ethnicity that having a group from South America? Their roots are with the Incas and also with the Spanish culture and African culture. They provide different types of music, and I think maybe this group provides the true ethnicity culture as far as music. Now, of course, the courtyard also features bands in the evenings. If you don't know, Friday and Saturday we have country players, we have jazz players. They come in play over there. So what we want to do is I want to probably begin a, if we can, I don't see why not, a music festival every year where somehow we can promote what Leon Valley is all about, because we are rich in culture, but nobody knows us. So we need somehow maybe maybe push the business community as well to take a part, not just demand the city to do this or to do that. I think as a business owner, I will be ashamed to ask for the city more. One of the reasons I said that because 5 years ago I came to one of the meetings over here to request a sidewalk for the kids from Marshall High School, and I was told, hey, we don't have enough money to, because the kids have to get to the, we don't have money to do. So maybe if we start doing things, maybe the revenues will come in more. Maybe then the city can start doing something. So now, as far as the carcass, it's a group that's well known all over the world. They're going to be turning 50 years next year, so they're going to make special tours everywhere that they've been before. Now, carcass normally, if we bring the carcass over here, probably going to have people coming from Houston, Dallas, God knows. They are well known.
I see.
They are well known, and the sooner we can spread the word, the better. If we promote, there's going to be a lot of people coming out from out of town.
So the video we saw, that was in an auditorium. Do you have any idea how many people attended that event? Was that 2,500 people?
The video that we saw probably was one of the worst ones I picked. I just picked one of them. But in New York, they fill in 40,000 people.
40,000?
40,000 people in New York. In Barcelona, Madrid, there are also 50,000 people.
Wow.
So in Los Angeles, they draw, I think, 8,000 or 9,000 people, depending of the promoters. The promoters have to do their work, because they don't do the promotion. They hire promoters, and the promoters in charge. I was 2 months ago in Houston. There was just smaller than Courtyard Cafe, and they play over there, and they charge us $250 per person, and people will pay. And that was just like probably no more than 400 people, but they cover the cost. The restaurant, the nightclub covered the cost. They were not very happy because they did not have dressing rooms. They told me that. Over here now, my option is the following. I don't know how the city feels about this, but if I don't get the city help in this, I'm going to ask Northside Independent School District, see if they can lend me the stadium they have over there somewhere over here by the natatorium, so we can put it. Now, if we're going to have weather problems, then I talked already to the principal of Marshall High School. They fit 1,000 people. People don't have no problem paying $250. There's 1,000 people per person. They will not have a problem at all, okay, because they are well known. Now, if we do in Rimkus Park, very easy, probably 5,000, 6,000, charge them $30 per person, do the math. A lot of money. And they will bring it. Now, of course, the fill-in bands, they might charge $3,000 or $4,000 per piece. Let's say 3 or 4, that's another $6,000 for them. Because I want to put the full bands like the jazz. Billy Ray Shepard, if you know, he's famous known in jazz music. He has a band of 6. Right now, I only have him playing, but that would be nice to have jazz. And also, there are some groups they come over there. They do the jazz exercise. So kind of make a festival from 12 o'clock until 6 or 7 in the afternoon. And in the mornings, have the banders doing their thing. Now, for that also I have to approach the banks. Now, some of the banks like Jefferson Bank would like to participate as a co-sponsors. I haven't approached other banks yet, but they will be willing, and the reason they want to, because they want to be known in the minority group. The minority group does not know this, so they want to also be participants. So if we can come together, work together, and I think it'll be a success. Maybe something we can do every year to generate more revenue for the city, and also at some time culturally become more rich. We are a rich community culturally. We just do not have enough resources, enough activity inside the business community. Look at Fredericksburg. Everybody participates with it. Everybody benefits. I just wonder why we cannot do that over here.
That's another question I have is, would you select the other bands that would appear?
I'm very open on that. I will select or invite them, or if the city wants to bring in, even I'm going to ask the Marshall High School band and the orchestra to play. This is for everybody. We want to make an ethnicity festival.
An all-day event?
Yeah.
So it would have to be like on a weekend?
We can
we
do
don't
on the
know
weekend
that.
or whatever day they have available, but I will prefer it on the weekend. That's what I'm planning to go with them.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So
Those
then,
are my questions.
Mr. Momari, will you also be responsible for like the stage and the sound system, right? That's part of the promotion?
I will be responsible as far as what the cost is going to be, but I'm going to get the assistance from the city manager to refer me where to get those things, because I don't know how the city organizes.
But I also heard you say you're going to get sponsors.
Yes.
To help you defray the cost that you
yes.
have in bringing these bands here.
What I like to do is form a committee with the city, with the Chamber of Commerce, where we can bring in these sponsors and they can put in their money, how much, whatever it is, and being managed by them. What I will sponsor is the funding for this group, or the groups are going to be, and then recover my cost. Because I think one of the main issues I see is the money. They do not charge peanuts. They charge between $25,000 to $30,000 per performance.
Exactly.
So that is going to be on me. So that's why I want to make sure, they will come when they come to the United States. That's one of the main things I want to do it. I think this is a great opportunity for me to leave something for Leon Valley, because Leon Valley has been good to me.
Do you know about when you'll know what day in June they could be available?
I will know. I'm going to Bolivia and the 17th. I should be returning from Bolivia probably 25th.
17th of January?
January.
Okay.
And I should have a probably contract with them and dates also, because they're meeting over there. They have the promoters from New York and LA meeting them over there in Bolivia as well.
I see.
I want to be there when they're meeting, so we can do contracts.
Okay. All right. So the end of January is
We should
a little bit
have
more
an answer,
specifics.
yes.
Okay. I know, Councilor Martinez, you have a question as well. Thank you.
Has this band been approached, and have they been agreeable to having a concert here in the San Antonio, Leon Valley area? Or is this going to be completely news to them?
Well, I do not know exactly your question, but I'm going to try to answer the best way I can. This band will play anywhere and everywhere. They're not picky.
But have they been contacted at this point that, hey, we here in San Antonio, Leon Valley, we might request a performance? Or is this
Yes,
going to be...
they have been. I already talked to one of the members of the band.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And to the city manager, is a 380 agreement really the right avenue? I thought 380 agreements were more long-term economic development tool. It would spread out repayment and stuff over years, and not just a one-day event.
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, 380 agreements, you can do a lot of things with 380 agreements. The reason I thought we would look at a 380 agreement is because a 380 agreement would clearly spell out, or we could even do it in a contract, but would clearly spell out, this is exactly what Mr. Mumani is responsible for, and this is what the city is responsible for. And the only reason 380 came to my mind, and like I said, that was an idea, was because the intention of this is to generate economic development funds in the city of Leon Valley, and to draw attention to the city of Leon Valley. But a contract would work just as well.
Okay.
I don't know if the city attorney would have a preference.
I don't have a preference, Mayor and Council, but just wanted to clarify on the 380, it's not just for loans, it's also for grants. If we were to grant them the funds, it can be a short-term agreement that, no agreement has any time limit. And so the only requirements under the statute for a 380 agreement is that it be for economic development purposes. And so it could be anything from 1 day to a project that has several phases.
Okay. And my last question is, I'm thinking about the citizens. Our park is heavily used, especially on weekends, and I could just hear the uproar from people that want to go to the park and just do their exercising, walking the path, and all of a sudden be hit with, hey, you want me to pay $30 to walk around the track?
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, that's a legitimate concern. We have that same exact issue with the 4th of July.
Oh, we don't charge for the 4th of July.
Right,
so
but
they
we
can
still have the complaint.
Yeah, but still,
that
they
their
can still
park is
come in there and they
unavailable.
can still walk. They may
Right.
have to walk, dodge people, but they can still walk.
Sure, that's the discretion of the council as to whether or not you're interested, and that's why it's called a 380 agreement or a contract. You have to decide that you're going to give up your park for that day for this huge, hopefully, festival, and that would be a decision of the council.
Okay, typically, I'm normally very agreeable to looking at different ways to promote our city and music festivals and stuff. I just wonder if you're open to, since you want to have it an ethnic event, have all kinds of different musics, not just Bolivian, but all kinds of music, maybe even country or, a rock.
That's what he said.
Just have a little bit of a variety of music.
You said jazz, too,
Yeah, Mayor,
right?
Councilor Martinez, that's been his intention all along, and I believe you
Yes.
just said that. Yeah,
Dr.
he's
Edwards
gonna-
wants
a
jazz.
variety of music. This would just be the headliner.
Right.
I think he said jazz.
He did
Yeah,
say
he did. He
jazz.
did
Now,
say
you've
that.
got a jazz lover down here to my left.
Got two jazz lovers.
I heard it.
Jazz
I heard
lovers.
it.
I love jazz too. So, anyway, okay. Yes, Counselor Jordan, thank you.
Just to issue about the park, if we had announced this and advertised it, then if it's going to be gated like it was for the 4th of July, the actual circumference of the park is the track, so they wouldn't even have to come into the actual venue. So those logistics could be worked out pretty easy. I think it's a great idea. It's like economic development as well as bringing attention to the city and bringing the community together, so it'd be community development as well, as far as I'm concerned. And like you said, you're going to bring in jazz, country, many different cultures of music and ethnicities. So I think it would be a great idea as long as we could work at the logistics out, as far as, see if they're able to come here and kind of, since you said they're nationally known, if we could, I know it's hard to, but kind of try to predict what attendance would be, So I'm in support of it. I think it'd be a great idea. And we've been talking about it anyway, between having a festival where we have the different foods with the food booths set up and the different cultures represented there. I think it's some similar to Taste of New Orleans or whatever down in San Antonio and the other things that they do. It would be something for Leon Valley, and it'd be culturally diverse. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I also think two other points are Mayor, Councilor Martinez. The city of San Antonio and other cities close down their parks to utilize them for festivals as well, so it's not unheard of. But the second thing that I would encourage in this contract 380, whatever we decide on, and I would say it on record to Mr. Mumani, is that we not do an all-day festival. It's very hot in July, and the city of Leon Valley has not had good experience with all day. People wait until it starts to cool off a little bit to come. And so I would suggest that we not do an all-day festival, and we're actually going to bring that proposal to you in January for the 4th of July because of a lack of attendance during the day. And we've done research on other festivals in the summer. Sandra has that she'll bring to you next time, so I don't mean to steal your presentation for January, but rare is it that a city actually does their celebration all day long during the summer. And so maybe just start in the afternoon so that people aren't so hot all day long. That might work, and that would certainly cut down on the officer overtime that we would need.
Right. Okay. Yes, Councilor Ely.
I have two comments, and that is, if it is held in June, we're going to be riding on the tailcoats of the celebration of San Antonio, which happens in May. The big thing happens in May. They're already celebrating an ethnic heritage, shebang thing. So we're going to be really at a high point of people that are already interested in that sort of thing coming to us during that time period. So if it means, hey, your summer is already full, come on down and see us because we've got the next big thing. And then again, the other concern I have is we've got 4th of July coming up right after that. Depending on the date in June, if it's a late weekend date, it's going to be hard to promote 4th of July. I mean, not that we don't already, and people know us for that. And again, it might be a great thing to say to those people that are there, don't forget our 4th of July, and great advertising at that time. So I also see it as a plus. Ethnicity is a great thing. We have multi-cultural restaurants in this community. It'd be great to promote them and have the people come down to enjoy all that we have to offer here in Leon Valley. And I'm happy to hear that you would be willing to pay for the large bulk of things that our 4th of July really took out of us, that we would get budget reimbursement out of our funds that we already have on hand or will have on hand is another big plus. So our community shouldn't feel like we're putting out. We're actually getting back quite a bit. And just an order writing that if we do have one every year, then people can know, just like San Antonio has the Jazz Festival, we can have the multicultural festival, including jazz here as well. So that would be a great bonus for us. So thank you.
I may just clarify this point. I'm trying to get this at this time, just in this June, because in the future we might just bring them in straight at a date that they're chosen. We might be able to afford it. Just come to this festival for us instead sharing now. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Well, again, you just want some direction from the council, and it sounds like everybody's on board to exploring bringing them in. I guess my concern is just the cost. I'd like the cost detailed to where, I can make sure that, it's a balanced, yes, and we will hear from Mr. Jarzamba. Come on up. That's my concern. But it sounds like, I thank you for wanting to put us on the map. I mean, we don't have too many businesses that come in and say, hey, I want to do this, and that to make Leon Valley a better place, and I want to give back. So I commend you for that. Thank you for
I'm Robert Jarsenbeck.
Yes.
I live at 7210 Grass Valley. And one thing you better take into consideration,
Okay.
Evers Road.
Oh, it's closed.
It's going to be closed more than likely
Through
in
August.
June.
That's right. Thank you.
That's going to create a problem.
That's
The
why we have people like you in the audience.
The park are going to have to listen to music that they may not like. Also, the parking situation you're going to have, if you have a great number of people, like the 4th of July, you can't drive down the streets. You know, you got to take these things into consideration.
You're right.
Now, it's a good idea, but you need to have a confined area. The park is not confined. There's too many entrances. People can walk in from the natural area, can walk in from Evers Road. They can come in from the parks, anywhere, the baseball diamond. They can come in anywhere. They don't have to come through a single gate. Are you going to gate it all off to where nobody can get in? I mean, there's lots of things you better take in consideration here, because an open area like you got there can create a lot of problems when it comes to security and anything else. That's all
Very
I got to
good.
say.
Well, thank you for reminding us about Evers Road. I think that's critical, that we will not have that access.
Those were excellent comments, and actually we just discussed this about 3 or 4 hours ago because of the 4th of July. It'll be the same exact thing.
Certainly.
And so that whole area will just be closed off for this event down the 4th of July. We just had a meeting, a pre-4th of July meeting about 2 or 3 this afternoon, so we discussed this very concern. So thank you for bringing that up.
And did you all have a solution?
The solution is it's going to be closed, so it's really better.
But I mean, as far as ingress, egress to the event, you're not there yet. Okay. All right.
This
Just
is our
thought I'd ask.
pre-4th of July meeting.
Yeah, it was a pre-4th of July. Okay. Yeah, you're not that good. Okay.
And we also did, though, just to make sure we're all on the same page, Mr. Mumani did discuss fencing the entire
Right.
event, not having open.
Okay.
It
Dr.
was
Edwards.
primarily fenced off for 4th of July last year.
Right.
Mayor Dr. Edwards, it was fenced off last year. That's correct.
Okay. All right. So in light of the input we just received, everyone's still wanting to go forward, but taking those points into consideration?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like to.
Just like we're doing for 4th of July?
Right.
Yes, Councilor Jordan.
Is the economic and community development funds available for this, or does it have to be brought before as an advisory committee to help for this event?
Mayor, Councilor Jordan, they're certainly available if you make them available, and if the advisory group makes them available. But I'm hoping, like I stated at the beginning, for this to be a budget-neutral event where it doesn't cost the city anything.
Okay.
By the time we make the money from the vendors, and also Mr. Mumani and I had talked about the city selling the beverages as well. Or getting $1 off of each beverage or whatever, so that the city makes money as well. So I'm truly hoping that we don't have to take that route, and that it's a budget neutral event for the city.
So where does the red light camera funds come in? I'm kind of confused now.
Funny enough, I'm about to talk to you about that in my manager's report. I believe that we will have the insertion of our first red light camera on January the 8th. We have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow sometime, and I will know for sure tomorrow, but I'm about to announce that in my city manager's report.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Any other questions on this particular agenda item from anyone in our chambers this evening? All right. Seeing no one, then we will then move forth. There's no other questions or comments on this. We'll move to citizens to be heard. Agenda item number 3. Are there any citizens or visitors in our chambers this evening that would like to address the council? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak. Okay. Seeing no one, then we'll move. Ms. Kinsler, you're up for the city manager's report, and I guess you'll just do it from there. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, Mayor, that would
You
be
bet.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, we have a birthday in the house pretty soon. So I was hoping you would join us in singing Dr. Edwards' happy birthday. Because this will be the last time we will see Dr. Edwards until the middle of January.
I can't prevent it, Dr. Edwards. I can't prevent it.
I think it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas
Eve. So if we could
Christmas
sing.
baby.
Yeah,
December
an
24th.
almost Christmas baby. So if we could maybe sing happy birthday to
bet.
Dr. Edwards.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Edwards. Happy birthday to you. and many more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone.
And just a little FYI, tomorrow is our city attorney's birthday. So happy birthday.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
We're taking her to lunch.
There you go.
What? Oh,
He's off tomorrow. You'll have to.
we're going to celebrate in your honor.
You thought you were off tomorrow. You thought you were off.
It was my job to do the invite. Okay.
Maybe it'll be Thursday.
There we go. So, want to just talk a little bit about the town hall agenda. What I have on the agenda, based on the couple of times that I brought it up to you all, are the pool, an update on Bandera Road, strategic goals, and Tiger sanitation, the changes, just to keep that message just as consistent as we can. Councillor Alcacer actually suggested possibly something on the audit process before we had audit and after, how it works, what we did before. And she also suggested something on the new home rule charter and how it will affect Leon Valley, the Amber Alert, sorry.
Do we need to do anything?
It's an Amber Alert.
Okay.
And then, so the second thing that she suggested was the new home rule, how it'll affect Leon Valley, basically the things that we can do as a home rule city. And then after last Saturday, you all have also added the pavilion, or I guess it's not the pavilion really, it's the lot at the corner of Peachtree and Puff.
Right, and what to do with that.
Right. This is going to happen for a little bit.
Everybody's going to get it, I guess.
I'm just wondering, Councillor Alcacer, could we, like on it, could we have a table and I'm just trying to think if we have so much.
Oh, and Tiger will have a table there as well.
Maybe we could just have a table of information on it and.
I just thought it was
sanitation.
important to let everybody know what's happening, because we continue to have problems both with citizens and in relation to the businesses, and if the police and fire and maybe the other departments could give a brief presentation, 15 or 20 minutes, I think it's an important part. I mean, it's just as important to me, or more important than the pool or the corner lot. That's why I'd like to see.
Okay, and then what about the home rule charter? What was your ideas on that?
We need an update is what I was basically asking for, to show what's happened since then and what's going to happen, so that we have a follow-through. You don't just have an election and do nothing. Nobody knows what's happening.
Okay, would that be like suggested ordinances that we can implement?
We could do that in 5 to 10 minutes.
Mayor and Council, y'all did declare the election declare the charter adopted. That's the last thing that we needed to do in the process. Basically, you are a home rule charter city, and everything that goes with that. So,
but nobody really knows what that means.
Well, it means that we're no longer tied to the state statutes and what type of law.
Yes, ma'am, I know what that means, but the gente, as it were, the people of the community do not know. They didn't know before, they didn't know when they were voting, and they still don't know.
I thought we educated them as much as we could, but I mean.
So maybe like a 5 or 10 minute presentation, just bullets going, this is what happened, this is where we are, this is what we can do now. If you all want to do that.
Okay, well, remember we have the clickers. So what do we click on the home rule?
Oh.
No, I love
We
those
did.
clickers. Okay, does everyone agree to add those extra items, the audit and the new home rule charter summary? And then also the pavilion that came out of the December 9th meeting, so I think we all had agreed on that, so that was good. Okay, so town hall is pool, Bandera Road options, strategic
Option, oh,
plan.
Bandera Road options.
Uh-huh,
Got it.
options, strategic goals, and I had asked about that. And in 2014, we updated our strategic goals, and this would be an update to that. And Ms. Kinsler said that staff has been working on that. And as you know, with strategic goals, you don't want them to get stale. And it's always good to update them every 4 to 5 years. And so this is about 4 years. So anyway, so I think that would be a good one as well. All right. Anything else?
Is this, adding these other 2 items, will that make the meeting too long or too cumbersome? That's my biggest concern. We really just need to really stay with maybe 3, possibly 4 items, and otherwise it really gets rushed and nobody really gets the full benefit.
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, I might be able to help with that. And then I think the Tiger sanitation, the audit process, and the home rule, those could be 5 to 10 minute presentations each. Those are just, let's just get the information out there one more time. And then the other ones, we could take the time with, so that we didn't take up too much of the time. Then that would leave you 1, 2, 3, 4 items that you would really need to dissect and get citizen input on if you did it like that. Just a suggestion.
And last year I gave you the postcard. I think we had.
I have it on my desk.
I think we had probably 6 items also last year. So, and we got through it in 4 hours.
Home rule being one of them.
And home rule being one of them, yeah. So, okay.
I'm
And-
sorry, would the Hebner Onion centennial celebration be all tied together?
I'm sorry, the Hebner Onion,
The celebration for
Tricentennial?
the city? Would that all be tied together as one?
well, let's see. I'm not sure. Are we going to, I know we're going to talk about it on January the 4th.
We have a
At
meeting
that
January
workshop.
4th.
And as far as bringing that to the town hall, is that what you're asking?
No.
Okay. I'm not
If the
sure. of that.
citizens are going to have any input on that, or, I mean, having it at the city council meeting is one thing, but at the town hall would be like a follow-up, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it's going to be fleshed out by the end of January, but maybe the Historical Society could have a table, or if y'all want to add it to the town hall, we could do that too. So, whatever y'all decide.
It's not pertinent. I mean, I just thought it'd be a follow-up information thing that we can have, and maybe just a table for the Hebner Onion / celebration.
Sure.
It's a good item.
I think so. Okay. All right, so is that agreeable to everybody to invite them and have them pass out information about the tricentennial event? I believe that's May 27th, 2018. They're going to have a ice cream social at the homestead.
Okay, so no clickers or anything like that for the homestead. It's just an
Just a table.
informational table.
I think so.
Table?
Is that right?
Table.
Okay.
We can have clickers about the audit and the other add-on things, or?
No, the audit will just be a presentation unless you want them there.
No.
No, okay. I didn't know if you were talking about the homestead itself or the tricentennial celebration alone.
No, both.
Both?
I mean, because it's at the homestead,
Okay.
just, you know.
Okay. But a table, right? Okay, we're all on the same page.
Okay,
All right,
I've
anything
got
else
that.
on the city manager? Yes.
I'm sorry, the items that's on the town hall meeting that requires
The clickers?
the so-called clicker.
Okay,
is,
pool.
The pool,
The Bandera Road options.
okay, and the property.
Goals.
The goals. Do we want to
Goals.
add these goals or update these goals?
Yes, ma'am.
And the pavilion.
The lot.
The lot. What do you want to do on the lot?
Okay.
We're not going to say pavilion, but what do we want to do on the lot? Because we got a lot of different ideas
Right.
at that meeting. So those are the ones that I would say would need the clicker.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And then the rest of them, as you said, Ms. Kinsler, we could just give information on the audit, the home rule, and the Tiger sanitation.
That's
correct?
And the Historical
And then
Society
the Historical
table.
Society
Mhm.
would have a table. Okay.
Alana could have a table too, and really Home Rule could just have a table with literature to pass out.
You could. I just don't think either one of those will take more than 5-10 minutes. They'll be fast. Just to update, and then we could also have the literature if you'd like.
Okay, all right.
Whatever pleases the council.
All right, but I thought I heard we were going to have little short snippets on it, Home Rule, and Tiger. Okay, and if they have a table with information, that's going to be in addition to.
Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
But the Historical Society, that's going to be table only. Is that what we decided, everybody? Okay.
That's what I heard.
Just so we are all on the same page. Great, thank you. All right.
Okay. After that, we have a pre-construction meeting with our red light camera vendor tomorrow. There's lots of things going on with this, the contract and the engineers and TxDOT and the city of San Antonio. The last thing we were waiting for were TxDOT's comments, which we've received, and it looks like we're going to be able to address those. We already have, actually. We will have a problem, though, erecting these cameras as quickly as we thought we were going to be able to, because TxDOT has a moratorium on lane closures from the 15th of this month through January the 2nd. So, but we still think, even with that moratorium, that we'll be able to get that first one up by January 8th, unless I'm told different tomorrow at our pre-construction meeting.
Excuse me, Ms. Kinsler, is that lane closures on Bandera Road?
There's a moratorium. We can't close lanes on Bandera during that time. Exactly.
Why?
I don't know why.
Oh.
That
I mean,
was just
are
the
they-
comments
they're not
received
doing
on the engineering
construction, are they?
reports. I'm not sure. That was just our comments that we were not allowed to close the road during that time,
Oh.
the holiday. And it's
From-
odd because that's the time when school's out.
Yeah, December 15th
15th
to
through
the-
January 2nd. That was
Oh.
their comment.
The only thing I can think of is the holiday.
Exactly.
they
It
just
falls
wanna
in
have-
line
yeah, they
when
just wanna
school's
have-
closed.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't make sense, though.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Well, I wasn't really able to
No,
clarify.
but I mean, I was thinking, yeah, anyway, never mind. Yeah, got it now.
So there's some work we can still do, but without those lane closures, we're not going to be able to do any major work on those cameras until after the 2nd of January. But we will know tomorrow whether or not we'll definitely have that first camera installed by January the 8th. December 22nd to January 1st, city offices are closed in observance of the winter holidays. Emergency services, animal control, code enforcement, and the impound lot are all remain available. All those services will remain available. January 2nd would be our next regularly scheduled city council meeting, but that's canceled due to the New Year holiday. January 4th at 5:30 p.m. Right here, there's a special city council joint workshop with the Historical Society Board of Directors to discuss the possible city acquisition of the Huebner Onion Homestead, a possible cooperative agreement with the Leon Valley Historical Society, the tricentennial celebration at the homestead in May of 18, and any other related matters. So after tonight, our next city council meeting will be January 16th at 6 p.m. January 27th is our town hall meeting at the conference center. There are no committee meetings that I am aware of for the remainder of this year.
Okay, very good.
And with that, I'd stand for questions.
Yes, any questions for our city manager this evening on her report and her updated report? I hope everyone got the full report. It's right outside on the table as you come into the chambers. So, all right, thank you. Any other questions from any of our residents or guests on the city manager's report? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll move to announcements by the mayor and council. Let's start over on this end. Councilor Ely, what would you like to announce this evening?
I guess just be careful out there. The weather has been turning nasty. It's slick. It's terrible to be out there driving when the weather gets cold and icy on the roads. I prefer everybody to have a safe Christmas and get home safely to their families. And with that in mind, please And my sincerest wishes for a Merry Christmas for everyone. Hope everyone has a chance to be with family this year. And enjoy the blessings of this season. And share the love and friendship that maybe you haven't had in a while. Try to get out and do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilor Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. I'd just like to thank all the citizens for coming out, actually all throughout the year, and helping us make the decisions that we have to make. I thank the department leaders. I thank them for their integrity. I thank them for their professionalism. Thank them for their work ethic, and all the employees in Leon Valley. I appreciate everything that you do. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Councilor Martinez.
All I can say is, everybody, have a Merry Christmas. Tell somebody you love them, and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you next year. But I'm always available if you have any questions. Feel free to contact me.
Okay. Thank you. Councilor Alcacer.
Yes. I recently read an article that included a phrase that I'm adopting, have attitude with gratitude. And if you think about that, it would make our world, and practiced it, it would make our world a wonderful place. I echo Councilor Jordan's sentiments, and I'm particularly happy to see the Mausers here this evening, especially with what we had read recently. And I wish them well and hope everything goes well. And everybody else, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful holiday, and enjoy your friends, family, and everybody you come in contact with.
Thank you. Dr. Edwards.
Thanks to everyone for coming out tonight, the citizens who are actually, of course, our bosses. And thanks to all of the city staff and police and fire department. And let me see if I can say this right. Feliz Navidad and Feliz Prospero Años.
All right. Nuevo.
What?
Prospero Año Nuevo.
I don't think I can say that right. Anyway, Happy New Year. And I guess we'll see you again next year. And thanks for coming out and being interested in the city. And thanks for singing Happy Birthday to me.
Okay, you bet. I just want to, again, it's kind of like a repeat the resounding joy, right? So anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy everything. Have a joyful and safe holiday. And again, thanks to all of our citizens, our staff, for working together. And I saw something on Nextdoor today, and they were kind of complaining that, you know, about the decision on the Tigers sanitation and not knowing about it. I want everyone to know that we have an open door policy. You can speak at the council meetings. Now they're live on streaming. So please, if you have any questions, comments, contact either me or any of your counselors or the staff, and we certainly want to keep you in the loop. And the town hall meeting is a fabulous opportunity to start the new year right by giving us your input, and we will have volunteer applications at that seminar as well. Okay, so with that said, let's move to the consent agenda. We have agenda items 6-1 through 7. And is there anyone on the council that would like to remove any of those items for discussion? Yes,
Mayor?
Councilor
Mayor,
Martinez?
I'd like to have item 6-2 pulled.
6-2, okay, very good. Any others? All right. Before we discuss item 6.2, if I could have a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda items 6.1, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, and 6.7, please.
I so move.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Ely to adopt the consent agenda items 1 through 7 with the exclusion of 2. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Moving back to a consent agenda item 6.2, discuss and consider possible action on an ordinance amending the Leon Valley Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, Article 1.06, Section 1.06.004. And we have Teresa Bader and here to present this evening. Thank you. I wasn't sure if our librarian, Sandy Underwood, she's here this evening as well. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor
You
and
bet.
Council. Okay, so I'm here today to present a request from the Library Board of Trustees to amend their terms of their terms. They currently have 2-year non-staggered terms, and they'd like to switch to 2-year staggered terms to create balance and continuity on the board. Okay, so in your packet, you have the actual ordinance for the Code of an Ordinance for the Library Board of Trustees. And what the board would like to change is sentence 2, which states such trustees shall be appointed to serve for a term of 2 years, coterminous with that of the mayor. The library board would like to change sentence 2 to read, such trustees shall be appointed to serve staggered 2-year terms to balance continuity with new perspective. The library board has discussed this change at length. They believe that staggered terms will allow for continuity. They also believe that new members will benefit from the experience of prior members who have gained experience and knowledge. And without staggered terms, there's a possibility that the whole board could turn over at once. If that would happen, the collective knowledge would be bankrupt rather than banking on the experience of elder members. So this change would avoid that.
Okay.
There is no fiscal impact. It affects social equity positively because it will have, it'll ensure that the board has more stability as time goes on.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I will ask Councilor Martinez to begin the discussion.
The staggered term, I have no problem with that. Where I have a problem is I think the last sentence needs to remain. All boards and committees serve at the pleasure of the mayor. And the mayor, if we have been lucky for the last 12 years that Mayor Riley has been mayor and the boards can continue to function the way they have been. But in the future, should Mayor Riley decide not to run for re-election, the next mayor should have the ability to select whoever they would like to fill the different boards, committees, and commissions that we have. That is something that is the mayor's power. It's a function that happens in the federal government. And I was, just so you know, just full disclosure, I was affected by when Mayor Riley won election. Mayor Meffert appointed me to be on the zoning commission, and I was a zoning commissioner for a little more than a year. And Mayor Riley didn't know me at the time, so she decided to replace half of the zoning commission, or keep half the people that she knew, kept them on, and brought her own people to fill the other half of the zoning commission. So that's the only thing that I would recommend we keeping the just that one sentence where the mayor can appoint whoever she would like or he would like in the future.
That is, let me find it here. Because the only one where they've asked is that second sentence is the only one they want to change.
Yeah, but that coterminous, okay, coterminous with the mayor.
Right, just meaning the entire board can.
If we could have the
that
sentence, the revised staggered terms, coterminous with the mayor, I'm fine with it.
But is that contradicting itself, the wording? Coterminous with the mayor, to me,
Means the same.
it's the same. When the mayor election
It will
happens.
stagger it if you're going to do them only
Coterminous.
with the mayor's appointment or election. To do them staggered, you'd have appointments made every year versus every 2
That's
years.
the board, yeah.
It's
Counselor Jordan.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, yeah,
Yeah,
needs to be
thank you.
recognized. Go ahead.
To me, this is there's two separate issues. When I'm talking about the appointment or removal of a trustee board member, we're talking about the terms. And even if they are serving a 2-year term, the mayor has the pleasure, just as you stated, to remove them and replace them with someone else. So with the statement that you're trying to connect it to is two separate issues. You have the term, which is a 2-year term, which can be staggered, and then you have the authority of the mayor to appoint or remove that person, no matter what year or what position you're in on the board. Is that right?
I just wanted to clarify
Well,
that.
I just want to say that I haven't looked at the Library Board of Trustees, the code on that, as far as vacancies or as far as removal of board members, but I'm sure that there's a procedure as to, or there have to be reasons as to remove a board member. You don't have autonomy as mayor to just remove a board member on the Board of Trustees. There has to be something that either they did or didn't do, either absence from office or probably committing some misdemeanor or felony, or I have, and I apologize, Mayor and Council, I have not read
I
that
understand.
portion, but that's basically been how most of the committees and the commissions have been.
Yeah, I think what Councilor Martinez was alluding to is when there's a new mayor and you go door to door and you get a lot of new volunteers, I was able to replace, I guess, most of the boards with just half and half. I mean, I didn't complete, but, and I don't know if it was because we were a general law or what, but anyway, that's what had happened years ago, and I guess
I don't know,
you're asking
and
if
I
that can
wasn't
still
here,
be.
and I don't know what the code looked like at that time. But at this time, as far I can speak because I've been looking at the zoning commission, and I can speak from that board. That can happen. Like a mayor can't come in and just remove a board member because they're the new mayor. There has to be a reason for removal of a board member in the code the way it is now. I don't know, Sandy, can you tell us what are the reasons for removal of a board member?
It just says the library shall be administered under the supervision and control of the city manager by a board of trustees to be appointed by the city council and to consist of 7 members, 2 alternates. Such trustees shall be appointed to serve a term of 2 years coterminous with that of the mayor. It goes on to say a trustee who is absent for 3 consecutive board meetings
that's
except
pretty
for
standard.
illness or disability or without first being excused in advance shall be deemed to have vacated his trusteeship, and the city council may appoint a new member to fill the unexpired term. Appointees need not be residents of the city, but preference shall be given first to such residents and second to residents of the northwest part of the county. That's really for terms. That's all it addresses. But yeah, it doesn't address that, that the mayor, that you can't go in and say.
So I think that
they just want to have staggered terms.
Mayor and
I
Council,
understand,
I think
and I
that
understand that. That's why you want staggered terms, so that we have staggered terms
That's
on
all
this
they're
board. So you don't want all new people. I agree. So,
Mayor and
yes.
council, I think that if you want to amend the code to allow a mayor to come in, a new mayor to come in and replace board members with your own choices, we would have to amend the code for all the boards and commissions, because the way it's written now, that's not a possibility, the way I read the code.
Yes.
And then that's a separate issue from tonight. Tonight is just
The staggered
terms, and we have to take out the part that says coterminous with that of the mayor, because
Is
the
the
staggered
two
terms
can't
and those two
exist
can't
together.
exist
I
together.
understand that. Okay. All right, very good. Can I hear from another counselor, and then we'll come back to you. Counselor Ely?
That was my only other mention of that phrase was, it can't say coterminous because the staggered wouldn't coincide with that, would not work with that.
Right.
So, and
Okay, very
staggering,
good.
just like Mayor just mentioned, is what we do, and that's why we were able to keep everyone on board that was there already, knows what they're doing, help the ones that are coming on board to know what to do in city council. So
Okay, very good.
definitely
Counselor Martinez?
But my comment to the city attorney is, when Mayor Riley was elected, she dismissed half of the zoning commission.
And I got
brought
grief
in
for that, let me tell you. It wasn't easy, but I had all these people that, that wanted to serve, and so apparently I was allowed to do it. And
Oh.
but it was not an easy process, and in hindsight, I don't know if I'd do it again, but I mean that was, I was green and didn't know better, but I just wanted all these people that I had met door to door they wanted to serve. They were enthusiastic and they wanted to serve. So anyway, so that's what you're alluding to, and like I said, maybe that wasn't the best thing, and so you're saying that we can't do it because of the
Mayor
code,
and
that we have to
Councilor
change
Martinez, you would have to change
Yeah,
the code
right.
completely.
Right.
I don't know what it was back then, and it may have been
Right.
amended since then. I can't speak to that time, but I can speak for now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Counselor Alcacer.
I think the only difference is really the mayor, it says the appointment, but it has to be approved by the council.
Exactly.
And so it really isn't a mayoral
Right.
appointment alone.
And, yeah, I
The
had
other thing is
council
all the
approval.
boards have staggered terms. I was surprised that this didn't exist with the library, and I'm all for it.
And at that time, we didn't have any staggered terms at all. It was just straight. Every 2 years, the mayor would appoint the members, or would suggest appointed with, again, the council approval. You're right.
Mayor, I
Yes.
did have one other point. I think when I was reading through the packet, I saw where they had a vacancy. Is that the one? No? There were no openings, okay. And, it was the Board of Adjustment, I'm sorry. Board of Adjustment had a vacancy. Never mind, I'll talk about that later.
Okay, very good. All right. With that said, then,
So I move that we approve item 6.2 as requested.
Second.
all right, we have a motion by Counselor Alcacer and a second by Counselor Jordan to approve the consent agenda item 6.2 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor and council.
Yes, you bet. Have a good evening, and I hope everybody noted the times that y'all are open during the Christmas holidays. Y'all will be open for some part of the time, so.
Our normal hours, the exceptions are closed Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the Tuesday after.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to shut the electricity off because we have solar.
Okay.
So that's why our Tuesday will be closed.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Well, Merry Christmas. So good to see y'all. All righty. Thank you. Okay, moving then to the regular agenda item number 7.1, public hearing on amending the City of Leon Valley Comprehensive Master Plan. And we have Nina Nixon Mendez here. This is our second reading of the comprehensive plan, and I'd like to welcome you back.
Thank you, Mayor and council. This is our second public hearing concerning the comprehensive master plan. It's a public hearing on an ordinance amending the City of Leon Valley Comprehensive Master Plan. The master plan does serve as a long-term policy guide to assist elected officials
in decision-making, and it is updated periodically to reflect current conditions and revised goals and strategies of the community. The master plan has been adopted and amended multiple times. You can see on this slide. And as you can see, the last amendment was in 2009, so we are a little overdue to update the master plan. It is a working blueprint. It does help guide the day-to-day planning, engineering, and financial decisions being made by the city. It also fosters communication between the city council, citizens, and with respect to what the intentions are of the city. It does provide coordination with the departments related to the various goals and strategies, and as well as the private sector. And it also establishes a basis for land use regulations. So it is a basis for decision-making concerning zoning recommendations. The plan itself consists of components or chapters, and you can see the various chapters here dealing with land use, transportation, housing, economic development, quality of life, and environment. And each of those chapters have specific focus areas concerning policy, citizen input, community goals, existing conditions, and the recommended strategies. Thank you. So I just want to describe some of the changes that this particular draft plan reflects. There's a focus on long-term planning in the document rather than focusing on the short-term action plans, which, our On-It program is really, emphasizing that currently. Our plan update, we are recommending a change from 4 to 7 years. And typically cities will update every 5 to 10 years, so the 7-year is sort of a reflection of that midpoint. And there are updated goals and strategies based on the various citizen input workshops that were held between 2013 and 2016. There's also a focus on the sustainability theme throughout the plan, and you'll see references to, encouraging natural resource conservation, smart growth principles, promoting reuse, recycling, increasing transportation options such as, walkability, biking, transit, enhanced connectivity, and then also expanding housing options for the various levels within the community. Another change you will notice is the land use plan and neighborhood land use maps did replace the zoning maps, and that is in accordance with state code. And so you will see that, as well as the updated demographic data based on our most recent census data estimates. There's a slight reorganization of the document as well. Some of the chapters, there was some new chapters created and other chapters were folded into one chapter. So you will see a little different reorganization, but again, there is an emphasis on the 16 neighborhood planning areas. So again, a very community-driven focus on neighborhood areas. With respect to the C statement, the plan benefits all incomes and age groups through the growth strategies. It promotes economic development while encouraging smart growth and redevelopment to optimize prior infrastructure development. And it promotes natural resource conservation, expansion of the tree canopy, greenway development, transportation options, and recycling and reuse. The fiscal impact, this is a planning document. It doesn't commit funding to any specific project. With respect to public hearings, the local government code provides that a city may adopt or amend a comprehensive plan by ordinance following a hearing at which the public is given the opportunity to give testimony and present written evidence, and review by the municipality's planning commission or department if one exists. The first public hearing was held before City Council on December 5th. This is the second public hearing. And the Zoning Commission considered the draft plan both on July 25th and October 24th and recommended approval. After receiving public input and City Council input, staff will bring forward the final draft for City Council consideration. And that concludes the presentation.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the comprehensive plan this evening. I actually finally looked through it, and on page 118, it's a section 7.1A. It says, what happened to the proposed Bandera Toll Road? Whoa. And it kind of ends it that, however, the ARMA eventually determined the proposed toll road to be infeasible. And I just want the record to reflect that that's not what happened. This council at that time in 2009 was very, very proactive. We had over 500 people at John Marshall High School who showed up to the TxDOT and the ARMA commission and opposed this elevated toll road going from 410 to 1604. And so this council adopted a resolution and submitted it to MPO, saying that we respectfully request that you take us out of this plan. But what I really liked about the council is we didn't just say what we were against, we said what we were for. So we adopted a second resolution to VIA, asking VIA to partner with us to bring in BRT, Bus Rapid Transit, which we did in 2012. And you see the bus coming from the medical center. So I'd like that paragraph to kind of be updated if you
Yes, ma'am.
could, just to reflect. And again, the reason I think this is important is because TxDOT today has an elevated roadway as an option from 410 to 1604 that they want us to consider. And so I think it's important to get that institutional background knowledge reflected in our master plan. So I don't know what the other counselors think about that, but when I saw that, I thought, oh gosh, I need to speak out on that. Also, a couple of more things. There's 16 neighborhoods, and my question to either you or the city manager is, will that be the 16 neighborhoods that we use for the police advisory? Will we be consistent there? Because all of a sudden I realized there's 16 neighborhoods, but that was my question.
Mayor, council, that's the plan, is to use those 16 neighborhoods.
Okay, very good.
And some of the neighborhoods being larger than others, if the council chooses, you could appoint more than one person from a particular neighborhood. That would be your choice. But this would be the neighborhoods
Would
that
be
you
consistent.
use.
Okay, and then my last question is, as we go through the Bandera Road options that are going to be presented at the town hall meeting in January, whatever comes out of that, plus the UTSA Economic Development Study, would we then amend our master plan to reflect any changes before the 7 years is up? That's all.
Do you want to take it, or do you want me to?
Okay.
Mayor, council, you could absolutely amend your plan after.
Okay.
We update it, basically.
You update it, exactly.
Update it, yeah,
Correct.
update it, right. Okay, those are my questions that I had. Are there any other questions? Yes, Councilor Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. I was just wondering if the new codification that we did had any effect on, did they bounce it against the master plan, and were there any changes that had to be made as a result of that, or?
Mayor, Councilor Jordan, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm sorry, would you repeat your question? I didn't hear.
Remember we had a codification of our ordinances? And
Yes,
everything like that?
codification. I didn't hear that word. Codification of our ordinances. Does that impact this plan?
Right. I was wondering if they kind of
And the question, the answer is no.
He said, did it impact this plan? And I said, no, not that I'm aware of.
Right, very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, anyone else? Okay, there was some question last time. Would we want to have another public hearing, or did we want to adopt it tonight? I think we.
I don't think it's on the agenda for adoption, and also
that's true. Okay, we're just going to have the public hearing, so we'll hear from the citizens.
Since I
All
had
right.
read it before, I gave Ms. Mendez the copy of, she was kind enough to give me the draft because there were so many grammatical and word and spelling and things
corrected
like
that.
that, and she got mine tonight.
Oh, okay, good. All right, very good. Any other questions, comments from the dais to Ms. Nixon Mendez? Okay. If not, then we will open up the public hearing on this comprehensive plan at 7:46 in the evening, and ask if there's any comments on our comprehensive master plan this evening. If you'd like to say anything about it, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Good evening and welcome. So glad to see you again.
My name is Cassie Rouse, and I live at 6719 Yellow Rose. I was just wondering if consideration was given when you were writing the comprehensive master plan as to how you fit into the greater San Antonio area, because they're doing the SA tomorrow right now, and I wasn't sure what the involvement was with that.
Good question. I don't know. Very good.
Our plan includes a section on thoroughfares, and our thoroughfare plan is coordinated with the City of San Antonio. So, there is coordination there. The other thing is our plan emphasizes redevelopment. And one of the big pushes related to SA Tomorrow, which is the plan that was recently adopted by City Council, is selecting 7 areas and focusing redevelopment initiatives in those areas to bring new housing and jobs to those areas. The closest, and it's termed regional centers, the closest regional center nearest to us is the medical center area. And so, I think certainly we're going to see additional growth opportunities related to the medical center that could certainly spin over into this particular municipality. And given that, our plan has the emphasis on redevelopment and then also greening of the community, it is pretty much in line with some of the goals and tenets of the San Antonio SA Tomorrow Growth Plan.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, anybody else? All right. Okay, seeing no one else, then I'll close the public hearing at 7:49. And we'll put it on for, I guess, the January 2018 for action. Is that the pleasure of the council to go ahead and adopt it then on the 18th of, no, excuse me, it's the 16th of January, 2018. All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you for those comments as well. Moving then to the 7.2 regular agenda, we have another public hearing to consider action on an ordinance approving replat 2017-002, a request by Luis and Magdalena Rodriguez to replat 3.28 acres of land generally located at 5309 Wurzbach Road in the city of Leon Valley. And again, we have we have Felicia. Yes. There we go. How are you? I thought it was going to be Nina again. So, a Community Development Assistant Director. Okay, we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And you'll present this one. Okay.
Yes. So, this property is not located in the 100-year floodplain, and it's currently zoned B2 retail in the sustainability overlay. The purpose of this item is to review, consider, and conduct a public hearing regarding the request by ISRO Engineering Services on behalf of Luis and Magdalena Rodriguez to replat approximately 3.28 acres of land, being Lot 26, Block 4, CB 4429 of the Rolling Wood Ridge subdivision, and establishing new lots 27, 28, and 29 of the Crystal Lake commercial subdivision. The property is as described. It would be divided into 3 new lots, and the replat request is in substantial conformance with Chapter 10 subdivisions. You can see here a picture of the plat. It is that dark outlined border with the 2 smaller lots, dividing it into 3. That's Exhibit A. This is Exhibit B. This is the development as it is now at the corner of Wurzbach and Watercress. You can see the little strip center there. Right now, the property is valued at $2,540,000. New commercial development will increase property value and ad valorem tax. For social equity, it does support improved quality of life for the area by allowing redevelopment of the property in accordance with building codes. For economic development, it provides future development, which will provide an economic benefit through the ad valorem tax. For environmental stewardship, everything will comply with the landscape provisions of the city code. As part of our strategic goals, this development will help reach the goals of the master plan of the city to attract, expand, and retain viable businesses to promote development and redevelopment, as well as provide a diverse and versatile business environment that supports a healthy economy. The replat request has been found to be in substantial conformance with Chapter 10 subdivisions. The city engineer and staff do recommend approval. We do have here in the audience the property owners, their representatives that applied for the application, as well as our city engineer, Cia Sayati, and they're here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, very good. Pretty simple request as far as replatting goes. Is there anyone on our council with a question for either Ms. Novan or the applicant? And that's Mr. and Mrs. Rodriguez. Y'all are in the audience. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Yes, Rodriguez. Yes, Councilor Alcacer.
I was just interested in the fact that because the division is quite unequal, was there a particular reason for that?
I believe there is planned development in the future. There's a pending building permit if you would like the property owners to discuss.
Appreciate it if
Yes.
they feel comfortable with it.
Yes. Would you like to come up?
We're able to ask those questions because it's just replat. Yeah. That's my question. What do they want to do with the property?
Good evening, City Council, Mayor.
Yeah. Good evening and welcome. We're so glad
Very
you're here,
much,
Mr.
yeah.
Rodriguez.
We have been in Leon Valley for 11 years, and we are very happy and we are very fond of Leon Valley. And when we bought the plaza, the reason why also we bought it is because it was already divided in 3 different pieces. The shopping center, the most important building, plus 3 lots ready to be built. And we haven't done that for 11 years. And it's a waste of money and space. All we do is mow the grass and wait for the opportunity to be built. And we have to divide those and to replat in 3 different parts. The building that is already existing there, plus 2 other lots to be built. And the reason why it, like as the lady asked Ms. Monica Alcocer, is because are separate. They are not in the same together place. They are one in one stream of the property, one in the other. And it's already done, prepared from long ago to be built. So here we are, and we are asking the City Council, the Mayor, please help us to approve the replat of these properties so we can, instead of to waste money and time to develop it and pay taxes and help Leon Valley, because that's a vacant lot. All we have to do is cut the grass each week. So we need your help.
Okay.
All of you.
Okay.
very
I just
good.
couldn't tell by the pictures, so I appreciate your response.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. Just for full disclosure, I used to be a former client of Mr. and Mrs. Magdalena and Mr. the gentleman for us tonight, Rodriguez. Yeah. So. Long time ago, 6 years ago. So this one is just for full disclosure.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for that. Okay. Any other questions from the council? If not, then we do have a public hearing, and at approximately 4 minutes before 8 o'clock on December 19th, I'll open up this public hearing, 7:56. Is there anyone that would like to weigh in on this replat in our community that's before the council? Okay. Seeing no one, then we will close the public hearing at 7:57 and stand in line for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept this as presented.
Okay.
I second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Martinez and a second by Councilor Alcacer to approve the replat as presented in the on the Wurzbach Road Crystal Lake Commercial Subdivision. I've never heard of that before. That's a new one.
A point of clarification.
Yes.
It doesn't appear to be an action item, but maybe it's.
It's on our agenda. That's where I'm looking at.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. It says public hearing to consider action on an
Right, but
ordinance.
it doesn't say and take action, it just says a public hearing. To consider action, but I guess it's just not the best, well-written.
Approving the replat.
Okay, it's on our agenda, but Ms. Councilor Alcacer says it's not in the packet on the ordinance, the written ordinance, and she just wanted clarification of that.
Was it clarification of whether or not the public hearing is separate from the action item?
Yes, it appears to be one and the same.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. So we have, that's okay, no problem. We have a motion and a second to approve this replat as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Rodriguez, and we look forward to lots of good things happening out of your property on Wurzbach Road. Thank you. All right. Moving then to agenda item number 3, 7-3, discuss and consider possible action to appoint members and set the term to the Leon Valley Board of Adjustment. And we have Sandra Pastelet, our city secretary, this evening here to present. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Mayor and Council, when we recodified the ordinances, we got everything put where we needed it, and then I began this process of going through all of the boards and committees, and I think this is our third one. We have many to go, but I apologize if there's no PowerPoint, but this was originally going to be in consent, but we pulled it because there are a few things that you need to consider. The ordinance does have specific appointment dates and term expirations, but they have not been followed as far as the appointments have gone. So what we're doing, because they've been made in December and August and things like that, so what we're coming to you tonight is to get an appointment for those that have expired, and some of them had just expired like 3 days ago.
So just 2 of the 5?
What I'd rather do is go ahead and you have your 2 alternates who expire.
No, 3. Yeah.
Well, you have 2 alternates right now that have terms expiring on target, which is 5/31/18. Because you're only to make appointments in odd numbered years, we're bringing this to you to ask for an appointment until 5/31 and come back to get them back on track in June, on June 1st of 18 to follow your ordinance.
Okay, so you want them all to expire on 5/31/18?
Code states that. The code does state that this board has all members expiring on 5/31 and all appointments being made on June 1st. So, and also we have a new applicant, Philip Riddle.
Right, right. I had that written down because I knew I'd seen his application someplace. Have we approved him?
No, it's in your packet for your approval. He has expressed.
I knew I'd read it someplace. Okay.
Correct. And then, so because we pulled it out of consent, because you do have the option of filling your vacancy, your member vacancy with one of the alternates, and then, or Mr. Riddle, or however you choose.
I was confused because you say you also have Ms. Carpio, who is or was a member, and her name isn't listed, so I didn't know if she took precedence or if we moved the 2 alternates up.
The packet was amended.
Okay.
Oh,
Her term
did I?
expired.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Right, it was
Yeah.
amended this morning.
Oh, this morning. Okay, so I didn't get that. But I'd seen Philip Riddle's name. I guess it just came through my desk. Yeah.
Okay, so her name is on the amendment. So
Okay,
then-
yeah, did y'all see that?
No, it's not.
Okay,
Her name is
so Ms. Carpio should be on there, and again, she would expire 5/31/18 as
And
well?
I did speak with her, and she does still want to serve.
And so we've moved Mr. Mauser up to be the.
That's your choice. You have two alternates, Lynn Joseph and Stephen Mauser.
Well, but Stephen Mauser's alternate one. I always like to move the first alternate up because they've waited the longest. What do y'all think? And Ms. Joseph to
become
number
first
1,
alternate.
and Mr. Riddle would be number 2, alternate number 2, right? Just the simple forward moving up. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I know, I saw it.
I so move.
Okay. We have a motion by Counselor Alcacer and a second by Counselor Edwards to approve the Board of Adjustment expiration and added members and the placement of them as presented. Any further discussion? Did you have anything else to
No,
add?
ma'am.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 8, we have citizens to be heard. Anyone in our chambers that would like to address the council at this time, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Yay, we have somebody. I always like to. And you're our Boy Scout leader, right?
Cub Scouts.
Cub Scouts. I knew it. With the little boys, with Chief Valdez, right? There you go. And your name, please?
Brandon House.
That's right, Mr. House. Nice to see you again. And your address?
6614 Cherryleaf.
Yes, thank you.
So, just as a moment of reflection and thanks, it being the end of the year, I just wanted to say thanks for all the great things this year that I've witnessed, from the positive changes that happened during 4th of July with the safety and the traffic and all that. The community involvement, like when the flag retirement ceremony was a very meaningful event. The continued excellent service from our first responders, the positive and timely responses from the city employees, from the interactions that I've had, and as well as just the true care for our citizens, like with the work that Chief Valdez has done with the FEMA and the FERT plan and all that. I come from a very small town, and so when I first moved here, I just thought it was another big city, but now that I'm getting more involved, I realize that it truly is a family city. So
very good.
I just wanted to say thank you for everybody. And
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for those very, very nice words, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other business, I guess we should move to adjourn at 5 minutes after 8 and say see you next year, January 16th, 2018. Well, that's the next city council meeting, but we have lots of things before that. Y'all take care. Thank you so very much for being here this evening. And again, from